Okay, gas piping. So just a little bit of background. So I've been on the rep side for quite some time now. I'm regional manager for Equipment Controls Company. We're the North America master distributor for Pietro Fiorentini gas regulators, or Governor or Green Top gas regs. So my background, I've known Jason and James we've been in the industry for 20 years. I was a contractor for good 4 or 5 years and then got on the rep side. So dealt with the boilers and all that kind of stuff. But one thing that I really loved was the fact that putting the right gas regulator with the right product. A lot of these units they're high modulation. They're getting more sophisticated. The modulation factor are getting up to 20 to 1, 25 to 1, turn down, 30 to 1 turn down ratio. With that said, most of your gas regs can keep up. Now, if you start staging those gas regs or those boilers in, you start adding that modulation factor. Okay, so you're adding that 30 to 1 with another 30 to 1 with another 30 to 1. Okay, so at that point, you're going to need a product that's going to keep up on the gas side. Now, as Jason was talking about the snow melt sloping down to the sensor and that gas, that boiler running, I like that. Run, baby, run. So I'm just joking. Okay, let's go. I'm going to get you guys the meat and potatoes, everything that's on that quiz real quickly. You have some cheat sheets that I gave you. The conversion from ounces to water column, or inches of water column to ounces. So I get a lot of calls in that says, hey, I need a 4-ounce reg. And you're going to need to convert that to inches water column. And that's what a lot of our gas regs on the nomenclature, it shows up inches water column instead of ounces. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys the cheat sheet so you guys can cross that over if you guys are out in the field. Also, the Pietro Fiorentini conversion charts. So if you guys are dealing with CFH, you times that by 1,000, that equals the BTU load. So same thing. If you get BTUs, you divide it by the 1,000, you get CFH. They run hand in hand. So there's a couple of sheets there for you. And then there's also on that catalog, it's going to give you the BTU ranges for the gas regs as well. So that way you can determine the sizes of what gas reg that you need. Okay, so I really want to touch up on number 1. Okay, and we're going to hit everything, but if an inline gas regulator is used, it is recommended that it be a minimum of 10 feet from the boiler. Okay, this is a rule of thumb. Well, not just a rule of thumb. It's actually in a lot of your boiler manuals that you have out there that you'll be dealing with. Okay, there's a reason for that. Okay, basically from point A to point B. Let's go to here. Hopefully it shows up. Oh, it didn't update. Okay, so what we're doing with our boiler, we want to make sure we feed that piece of equipment. I don't care what unit it is, if it's a boiler or rooftop unit, all you HVAC guys dealing with furnaces or with rooftop units or with the boilers, please, if you can, give it that 10-foot rule. Basically, on the plumbing side terminology, you're creating an expansion tank of gas. Okay? So when that gas valve kicks on that boiler, once it kicks on, we need that volume to draw from. Okay? We need that volume of gas. So we're going to come in. We want a minimum of 10 feet. Now, our architects love us, right? They love giving you all sorts of room in the mechanical room, right? So what do you do if you don't have that 10 foot or can pipe it 10 feet? What do you think what are you going to do at that point?
Upsize.
You can upsize? Okay. How big?
I don't know, 1.5 inches off the lid. 1 inch do it.
Okay. All right. 1.5 inches on the downstream side or the upstream side? After the reg. So you went up 2 sizes on that? Okay. Did it work? Okay. All right. So the recommended, and this is on the, I think it's on your test here, is 1 pipe size is the recommended. Now I've seen it go up 2, created a big volume to draw from. Recommended is going to be a 1 pipe size diameter. Because what happens is if you put too much downstream, then you're going to deal with pressure pressure drop issues. And at that point, we're going to have to run a control line. That's a whole different ballgame. We're not going to dive into the weeds on that one. What I want to do is just make sure that we get what's on there. But if it runs, let it run. Let it go. Okay? So if you don't get the 10 feet, what we're going to do, and I know you guys love your mechanical rooms and we love making them beautiful, but sometimes you got to make them ugly. Okay? We want to make sure that the unit runs. We want it firing. We want to feed the beast. We're going to run a drip leg. Okay? It's not going to look pretty, but again, we're creating volume. You'd mentioned 2 sizes. We can get. I'm pretty sure we can get away with it. If it's running, let it run. But the idea is to do 1 pipe size in the manuals. It's recommended 1 pipe size. But put a drip leg in there. If you don't have that 10-foot rule taken care of, then we'll go ahead and run the drip leg. This is huge. I got videos. There's a job that I just recently came from that was down in St. George. They had a Pentair boiler pool heater that was running. The gas reg was butted up probably about that far away from the gas valve. Okay, so what happens is that gas valve kicks on. It's an 80% unit. So we're firing, shutting off, firing, shutting off. What we're doing is we're creating pressure, a high spike from the gas reg to the gas valve. So we put the manometer on it. It's spiked up to 30 inches water column. Okay, that's way too high. Not only is it messing with my reg, there's a metal piece on the inside here. It's gonna ruin that over time by slamming it, but you're also gonna ruin your gas valve on the inside over time. You're just wear and tear. You're just slamming that thing, short cycling it pretty much. So you're gaining that high pressure. On the gas regulators, we want to make sure when it comes to orientation, we want to make sure that that vent limiter stays up. Okay, so there is a ball check valve on the inside of this. Let's see here if I can pull that off. I'm running, James, I'm hurrying. There's a little ball check valve on the inside there. It's gravity fed, okay? So if that's not facing up, this unit or this gas reg is considered like your lungs. It's like a diaphragm, okay? It's not going to breathe correctly. So that vent cap needs to be pointed straight up at all times. Now, what if we turn that reg sideways like that? Do you think it's going to work properly now? If it's a gravity-fed check valve or ball valve or ball, sorry, on the inside of that? No, it's not. How about like that? Is it going to run? It's going to work perfectly? No. We're going to have some issues. So to help out with that, we've got this vent limiter 90-degree adapter, which is certified. So if any question comes up, is this a certified piece of equipment? It is. If you need the certifications, we'll let you know. But if you turn it sideways, you don't have to build it out in the field. You don't have to build the 90. You don't have to do any of the black pipe. It's certified, ready to rock and roll for you guys. It is event limited, so it is certified through ANSI and CSA. Those are the governing councils that are over gas appliances and gas regulators. If there were to be a rupture in the diaphragm on the inside of the gas reg, that vent limiter cap is it's going to be below the 2 cubic feet per hour threshold that gives us certification for a vent limited application. It's at 0.08 pounds of pressure or cubic feet per hour. So really, there's going to be no gas that's going to be vented into the mechanical room. So you don't have to run a vent line with our gas regulators. So what does that do for you guys? It saves you guys on time and money trying to run that vent line and also a penetration into the building. So those are certified. If you come across any inspector that calls you on it, most of them know it now. It's been around for about 20 years. But if you come across anybody that's causing any issues, give us a call and we'll go and talk with them. But it's got the tags that are on there as well that says that it's certified for that. If it's an outdoor application, then you just put the green cap on and away you go. Don't leave the brass cap on there. Go ahead.
Your drip tube. So if you have to, out of your schoolhouse, you're saying, or it was just there's
Minimal. Yes.
what's the recommendation on a drip tube?
Do you know what? It's whatever. Whatever you can get. Give it as much as you can. Okay? Give it as much as you can. So we're talking volume. We want that thing to draw. Okay? We want that thing to that unit to draw and suck the gas down. Okay? Feed it.
So if you can't go very long, is that where you get a fueling type set beta on your drip tube?
Yeah, you could do that as well. Yep. Yep.
So one thing to point out on this scenario and why we point out this 10 feet of pipe is just because of the way pretty much most of our condensing boilers function, okay? They're called a negative pressured gas valve, meaning they suck the gas into the boiler via the blower motor, okay? And because of that, and because of the constant change in its modulation, where it can go from 0 to 100% really quick, then it causes a lot of havoc in that gas line, okay? So that's where this rule is coming from. You put them on an 80% boiler, a lot of 80% boilers will run, or furnaces will run with a gas regulator right on it, right? We've all been there, we've all done it, okay? And we've never really had much of an issue. But with these modulating boilers and that negative suction, we're sucking that gas so fast through that line that's when we've coming up with these problems lately, okay? And so we're causing havoc with the diaphragm either bouncing or kind of getting stuck because it can't find that sweet spot to let that gas come through the line, okay? And so you can have it with a line size that's too small, and you can have it with a line size that's too big, because now you created so much volume that now that regulator can't find that sweet spot again because you're not really pulling a whole lot through it all of a sudden, right? Okay, so that's where this 10-foot rule comes from. And we're going to go over in a minute a little bit of sizing your gas line out of the regulator so you know you get the right amount of cubic feet per hour or BTU per hour of gas fed to that unit, okay? So just kind of a little snippet on that. That's why we're pointing this out, because we're having so many issues with the gas guys not installing the lines right, and it's just causing havoc on our boilers, okay? And the number one question or answer I get from a gas guy, well, I've been doing this for 30 years. Why do I have to change all of a sudden, right? Well, I've never been taught that. I just go off of whatever the boiler size has a connection to it, and that's what I pipe to it. Like, well, have you ever read a gas chart and sized anything? I mean, you got to size it for the pressure you're giving it, right? So we'll go over that a little bit too. So,
Yeah.
And that's our question.
So curiosity, is that like applying to like tankless water heaters and stuff like that?
Yep, any gas appliance. Even generators. Even generators. You guys, any of you install generators? Okay. Yeah, run gas to them. Keep that 10-foot rule and even increase it on the generators. You're going to be increasing a little bit more on the outlet side because, man, those gas valves just kick on and they suck the gas in. And so, yeah, give yourself a balloon or that distance and that volume from the regulator to the gas appliance.
So if you can't do it, just make an extra wall.
Just throw a T in there. It's not going to look pretty. And I know you guys take a lot of pride in your mechanical rooms, but it is what it is. I'd rather have the unit run. I mean, how many homeowners are going down? I mean, there are some oddities that homeowners will go down and look at their systems, especially if James has done the mechanical room. It looks awesome. But some of these homeowners, they really don't care. They just want the results, right? They want hot water. They want the furnace to run, etc. So make it work. Give it that rule, or give it that 10-foot distance if you can. Again, every 90 equals 5 feet on piping as well when it comes to gas appliances as well. So
One way to kind of think about that, sorry, Eric,
no, go ahead.
coffee straw versus the McDonald's straw versus a 2-inch piece of PEX. What one are you going to get fluid through sufficiently? The McDonald's straw, right? You're going to be able to take a 2-inch piece of PEX and get your drink through that? Sure, really good, I guess, but it's going to be hard, right? Okay, so that's where that rule applies. You can be too small, you can be too big. Okay, so just an example.
Yep. We'll crash through this because it's on your test. We want to make sure that you guys get the answers. When using an external vent limiter, the flat top, again, we talked about the vent limiter must always be facing up with the threads facing down. If mounting the regulator in position A, B, or C, which is, again, horizontal and sideways and vertical, we want to make sure that they use the right adapter. And that, again, that is certified. If you get called on it, that vent limiter adapter is a certified piece of equipment. The governor design incorporates an integral vent limiter in the regulator, and the diaphragm has a little pinhole on it. So it's the first vent limiter, and we could talk about it after class, but it does have two vent limiters. A small vent limiter on the inside, an integral one. If the diaphragm ruptures, it'll hit that first one, and then it'll hit the second one. Hence the 0.08 cubic feet an hour puffing out into the mechanical room. So it reduces the amount of gas into the mechanical. Let's see here. In accordance with all local code standards and requirements, 15 feet is the maximum vent line distance that can be run before affecting the performance of the regulator. Always increase pipe size after every 15 feet. Again, another reason why a vent limited gas regulator is beneficial. That way you don't have to be running those gas vent lines out to the atmosphere. You don't have to worry about those rule of thumbs, but keep in mind those are, you do need to increase every 15 feet. The gas regulator should always be installed at an equivalent pipe length distance, again, of 10 feet from the appliance. And the regulator body size should not be more than one size smaller than the outlet pipe size. Okay. And then on condensing appliance, it's recommended to install high capacity regulators to handle the constant changes. And we can go into that a little bit more. The high capacity versus the standard governor regs, the springs are that much, they have that much more tension. The nitrile rubber on the inside are that much stronger, and they just react, and they have a bigger chamber on the inside. Hence, we're going to dump a lot of gas downstream to make sure that your high efficiency piece of equipment works. Jason, you want your equipment to work, don't you? It's preferable. Yes.
These rags out of anybody else's brand, best one to the market. I've had nothing but good things for them. Where I've had issues with rags and gas problems, it's usually because this rag is not in it. So they're top quality.
Top quality. Yep. Thanks, Jason.